Yes, Prabhu. Hari Bol.
Okay.
Yes.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so Bhagishri Mataji, please do the Mangalacharan, not the full, only Prabhupada mantra, and then Jai Shri Krishna and Hare Krishna, okay? If not, then Brother Prabhu, you please continue.
अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरोन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमपदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामने गौरतुषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे बोल।
Hare Krishna. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. So I think today is the first time you sang Gaurati, is it?
Yes, Prabhu.
Wow, congratulations, Prabhuji. Very nice. Well, first attempt. Keep it up. Okay, fine. So, where were we? In the second chapter, now Lord Krishna has started speaking about soul. So let's try to understand from a scientific way about this soul. Because what happens is, when we speak about soul, the question that comes up is, that is this scientific? The things are you speaking about, is there any base to it? So we have to understand that science is the study of matter, and Bhagavad-gītā is the study of what matters, right? So in the previous class, we saw that we are made up of three bodies primarily. The first one is the gross body that can be seen: earth, air, water, fire, ether, these five elements. The second is subtle body that cannot be seen. It is called Sukshma Sharir. That consists of mind, intelligence, and false ego. And the third one is spiritual body, spirit, that is soul and super soul. Now, let's see what is science and what are the limitations of science. So science deals with things that pertains to mathematical calculation, measure, and it only goes as high as to physical matters, not beyond it. For instance, we are made up of three bodies. So science only deals with the gross body, the matter. Subtle body and the spiritual body is beyond science. They cannot. From a mundane or a layman's perspective, let's understand this. Or let's take an example. For example, if I know, or if XYZ person knows that their grandfather or grandmother is super rich, they have mansion and everything, and they are next in line, they are going to get it. Now this person, they have a hurry to get that inheritance from their granddad or grandmother. Now he has studied science. He knows that if you put arsenic in the food, the person who is going to eat that food is going to die. So what he does is, he puts arsenic in the food of his grandparents, they die, and he gets the inheritance. So science can only teach the facts, but should I do that or not? That is something that science cannot teach. That is why science is the study of matter. But Bhagavad-gītā is the study of what matters. Keep that in mind. So it tells you what should be done and what should not be done, as Krishna will start giving this knowledge to Arjuna. So it will be very clear, okay, these are the sets of things from an ethical point of view, from a moral point of view, and also scientific. So we will also see the scientific aspect of soul given by Lord Krishna. So it's very important to know what should be done and what should not be done. Both the things are very, very important. On the 125th anniversary of science, there was this science magazine, a new edition came out, and the top two questions that were the most unanswered were, the first was, where did the universe come from? There were 125 questions on it, those were not answered. And the second question was, where does consciousness come from? So these two questions weren't answered by the science magazine. Yesterday in our Bhagavatam class, we covered the first question, where does the universe come from? Now let's see the consciousness. So Bhagavad-gītā, now as we are going to study the verses of Sri Krishna, it gives the answer that the consciousness comes from soul. Consciousness or Chetana in Hindi is the property of soul. How do we know that we are alive? How? Because our senses are working. And what is the driving factor? That is consciousness. Consciousness is throughout our body, and that is why we are alive. And the place that is the heart of that consciousness, that is soul. The consciousness is coming from soul. For example, the electricity that we have in our house, so it comes through a wire, and that wire is connected to a transformer which is connected to a powerhouse. So the main source of the electricity is powerhouse. If the powerhouse is switched, the electricity would be cut. But because of the powerhouse, the electricity is transferred via the wires. So that is the medium. So similarly, consciousness is the medium. And the powerhouse, the storehouse, is soul. Now, how do we understand this? Because then Krishna has given practical implications. For anything to understand, it needs to have characteristic. For there are so many things that can be characterized, right? Characterized. So similarly, Lord Krishna, he gives the characteristics of the soul to Arjuna. As we will move ahead, he says various characteristics, saying that the soul cannot be dissolved, the soul cannot be burned, the soul cannot be withered. So these are all the characteristics of soul. To study science, we have characteristics, right? If we have studied physics, chemistry, bio, so you must know these terms. You would have studied. So this is the practical implication, or these are the scientific evidences of the soul. Then few more things about soul is that there have been 11% cases in US of near-death experience or out-of-body experience. So this has been researched. There have been so many cases where the patient who was lying down in the coma, he goes under coma, under operation, and as he comes back to senses, he can tell the doctors that, you know what, I could hear everything you were speaking. You kept the plate on my stomach, and then you were conversing with this person, with that, and the doctors were shocked. How did you know? So he said that because my soul, it traveled out of the body as you were doing operation on me. That's how I know. So there have been so many cases. Other than this, there is a professor, you all can go and Google, search him, Ian Stevenson. That's the name, Ian Stevenson. He has researched more than 2,000 cases of past life on reincarnation. In one of the cases, there was a person in Turkey, there was a child actually, 6-year-old child with the name Nesip Budak. And this Nesip Budak, as he is 6-year-old, he says that, you know what, to his current parents, that I have another set of parents and I live in another city. So then he took his parents to that city, and there he could remember his house. He goes to his house. Now his children, they were all grown up because he had died a while back. So they were old. There was also, his wife had become widow because he died. But now when he sees his children, now he is playing with his children as if now he's 6-year-old and the children are old now. But then he is acting as if they are his children and they are confused what's going on. And after that, he sees that his wife, she remarried with another man. And then he sees the photo of her with another man. And he breaks that photo and he is really angry that how is it that my wife, she belonged to me, how can she marry someone else? Now, there was scientific evidence as well of this. So what happened was that this Nasir Budak, he was a drunkard. In this previous life, he was in a pub and he was stabbed. Multiple places he was stabbed, and then that is how he quit his body. That is how he died. In this lifetime, as a 6-year-old, he had those stabs, the birthmark as stabs. And then in the previous life, because he was murdered, there was a post-mortem report. Now, when he told all this story that this is my wife, these are my children, this is my house, I died at this place and this is how I died. So then they go back and check the date, and it actually matched. Yeah, there was a person named Nasib, and he was stabbed at this place, this time, multiple places, and then he is also showing the birthmark. And to further check that, they matched that post-mortem report with his current birthmark scientifically in a lab experiment. And they got to know that he is telling 100% truth, that he is the same person he says who is in his previous life. So there have been so many cases that has been done. So there was another girl in Bangladesh, and she could remember her past life. So she goes all the way, I think that was South India. So she goes to the southern part of India, and then she tells everything that, you know what, this is my parents, this is this and this is that. So there have been so many cases. Another person, he goes to his place and he tells everything that, you know what, there used to be a door over here. Then the people said, yes, long back there used to be, but now they have broken and they have made some walls over here. And then he said that there used to be one shop here, this and that. Then he goes to his wife, his past life wife, and he tells that, you know what, I am your husband. And then she says, okay, can you prove it? So he says that, you know what, you used to spend a lot. So out of that fear, I had kept some jewelry at this place. I had buried it down at this place. So they dug, and they found those jewelry at that place. So there have been so many research studies on this past life and reincarnation. So these are all the evidences or examples that soul exists, because mostly people think that this is just something religious or sentimental or superstitious, that there is soul. They cannot answer, the science has not answered yet, and the science has also not proved the existence of soul. But through our scriptures, through these NDEs, near-death experience, out-of-body experience, and then reincarnation, past life study researches, we get to know that there is soul. That is the first thing. The second thing is logical, that we spoke in the last class, that how is it that if 100 children are born in a hospital, one of them is good at mathematics and the other one cannot do good mathematics. Someone is a good cook and the other person cannot cook at all. So what differentiates that? So the subtle body, it carries whatever actions we have done. There are samskaras that is made. Samskaras means When you keep on doing something, it forms into a habit. So those are the samskaras. For instance, if you have tried really hard this life to learn to swim, so in your next life, just as a kid, you can easily swim because it is as a samskar, an imprint in your subconscious mind. And if you learn to play guitar or if you were a scholar in Sanskrit, you can easily pick up shlok next life. So you can actually sit back and think about it. If you were really good at something as a kid, that means your subtle mind has carried that again and again. So I'll tell you personally that one of my distant relative, she told me one day that you know what, my his he was I think for her kid 4 or 5 year old, and she said, "You won't believe, we never see Russian movie. We have never made him see any show, but he speaks Russian. We have never tutored him. We have never. He has never been in contact with another Russian. But at first, I could not understand what is he speaking. He used to speak some alien language, so I had no idea. We went to the doctor, and then the doctor tells that this is Russian he's speaking. Not very fluent, but in tutti futti bhasha, that stuttering and all those, like kids say. So he was actually speaking Russian. I mean, my cousin, son. So there have been so many cases, and this is how we can understand the existence of soul. And the third thing, the first thing we got the logic NDE and all those things. Second, the logic that how do you explain that why some person is good at something and some person they are not very good at something? It's because of the samskaras. And then the third one is through the scriptures that there are 3 ways to get knowledge that we discussed in our very first class. There are 3 ways. The first one is Pratyaksh Praman, second one is Anuman Praman, and the third one is Shabd Praman. Pratyaksh Praman means seeing is believing. You only believe what you see, but that is not always the case. Seeing is believing is not always true. We have shared the example so many times. So I just reiterate because many new people have come here. So there was a class, and in the class, a teacher asked one of the religious or the spiritual student that, you know what, you say that you believe in God. He said, yes, I believe in God. He said, okay, fine. Do you see the blackboard? He says, yes, I see the blackboard. Do you see the fan? He says, yes, I see the fan. Go out and tell me, do you see sun? He goes out and he says, yes, there is sun. Then he says, do you see God? And then the child was silent. So the teacher says, hence prove that there is no God because you cannot see God. So there was a very intelligent girl in that class. She said that I also want to experiment. So he said, yeah, go ahead. She asked the boy the same questions. Do you see the blackboard? He was a bit irritated, but he said, yes, I see the blackboard. Do you see the table fan? He says, yes, I see the table fan. Go out and say, do you see the sun? He goes out and he comes back again and he says, yes, I see the sun. Then she asked the next question, do you see this teacher over here? He says, yes, I see the teacher. Do you see the teacher's mind, his brain? So then he understands. He says, no, I don't see his mind, I don't see his brain. So the student says, the girl says, hence prove that teacher has no mind because the boy cannot see his mind. So seeing is believing is always not the correct case. Then second way to gain knowledge through Shastra is Anuman Praman. Anuman Praman means that you do estimation, guesswork. For example, if you see there are 10 pair of shoes outside a temple, so you will guess that there are 10 people who are inside the temple hall. But that may not be the case. It could be that 5 people never wore the shoes from their home. They came barefoot from their house. So it becomes 15 now. Or there could be that few people, they opened their shoes and then they never went inside the temple hall. They went somewhere outside. So it's less than 10 people. So you can never guess the correct if you do estimation. So Shastra, scripture, they reject Anuman Praman and they reject Pratyaksh Praman. Now the third way of receiving knowledge is Shabd Praman. Shabd means that you hear from your teacher, a bona fide teacher. And they hear from their teacher, they hear from their teacher, they hear from their teacher. So this is called a Guru Shishya Parampara. And this is approved by Shastra. For example, no one in this world can prove 1 plus 1 equals 2, 2 plus 3 equals 5. You have no one has questioned that why does 2 come after 1 and why not 3? Why is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and why not 1, 3, 4, 5, 2? No one questioned. Why? Because our teacher taught, their teacher taught to him, and their teacher taught to them, and it is a disciplic succession. It comes down as sound vibration. So this is how knowledge is perceived. This is what Shastra tells us. So this is the third reason why we have to take the existence of soul. We discussed all this because the first topic of Bhagavad-gītā is the science of soul. So with that, we will go and see today's shlok. Let me share my screen.
Prabhuji, I'm sorry, somebody called me. What you said for the Shabd?
Shabd Praman. Shabd Praman. Disciplic succession. Yeah. Okay, so I don't see. Fine. So I want volunteers who can recite the shlokas. So let me quickly share my screen and then we will get started. So we left off at the 15th shlok last time. Let's do this. Any volunteers who want to sing the shlok, or we have various ways. I want every one of you to participate. The first way is I sing, you listen for a few classes and then you pick up. Second is if you know how to sing, how to recite, you recite. Third is you ask me to recite first and then you recite after me. So in that way you can learn how to recite. Okay? So let me recite a few shlokas and after that, Girdhar Prabhu, you do the coordination. And then when you see their hands raised for the next shlokas, please everyone raise your hands, those who want to recite shlokas. And I will ask Girdhar Prabhu and for the next shlok they can recite. So in a linear fashion, Girdhar Prabhu, you just let me know. If you see hands, if you don't, then it's okay, fine. So Bhagavad-gītā, chapter 2, text 15th. Yahimna vyathayate purusham purusharshabha samadukha sukham dhiram somritatvaya kalpate. He says, O best among men, Arjun, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress and is steady in both is certainly eligible for liberation. Okay? So we had done this shlok last time. That is why, just to give that connection from the last time, I have taken this shlok and we discussed this in detail. That how if you are undisturbed in both, for instance, if you get 10,000 euros from some person all of a sudden and after 10 seconds he says that, oh, I gave you by mistake, please can I have it back? So you cannot cry that I lost 10,000 euros. Those 10,000 euros never belonged to you in the first place, right? Similarly, nothing belongs to us in this material world, nothing. This body, that is the first thing Krishna is making Arjun understand, that Arjun, you are associating yourself with this body because Arjun, the reasons he based was that he was confused between two dharma. What were the two dharma? The first dharma was towards his family. So dharma means, that dharma does not mean religion actually. The definition of dharma is what one must do. That is your dharma. For instance, if you are a cook, if you have been given the seva in the temple to cook, so your dharma is to cook for Lord Krishna. If you have been given the seva to serve your nation, so your dharma is to serve the nation in army. So this is the definition of dharma. Dharma does not mean religion. I am Sikh, I am Hindu, I am Muslim, I am this, I am that. That is wrong definition. So now Arjun thought that is, he had two dharma. The first dharma was towards his family. As Kuru Vansh, he had the dharma to protect his family. And second dharma was as a Kshatriya. He was a Kshatriya as well. So his second dharma was that there was some wrongdoing. His wife was tried to, she was humiliated, embarrassed, and they tried to strip her naked in front of everybody. And then they tried to kill Bhimsen multiple times by giving him poison. They tried to burn the place where these 5 Pandavas were sleeping. So he had a conflict now. Which dharma should I go for? Towards my family or towards killing the miscreants? Because these people, in our presence, if they dared to insult a lady, so what will they do if we are not present or if we don't help? So now he was confused between both the dharmas. So then Krishna, starts giving him the lesson, saying that the first thing is that yes, of course you have the dharma of your body, but understand that there is a dharma that is superior to both this dharma, and that is the dharma towards your real identity. So the whole problem that you have, should I choose A or should I choose B? It's because that you don't have a proper identity, you have forgotten your identity. So he starts by reclaiming or making Arjun understand or reclaim his identity, who he really is. So that is why he says, you are neither a Kshatriya Arjun or you are neither your Kuruvanshi. You actually are a spirit soul. Let's start there. And through that, then you start understanding your other dharma. So this is primary. For example, if there is a cage, inside the cage there is a parrot. Now the owner of the cage, it's a golden cage and really expensive. Let's say the cage is 30,000 euros cage. Very, elegant, and it has diamond studded and everything. But the owner, the lady, she keeps on cleaning the cage because it's expensive, but she never feeds the parrot or the bird inside the cage. So the bird is going to die, isn't it? So similarly, if we take care of the body that we think it's very expensive, we have to maintain, we have to work out, and we have to do job, and we have to maintain the body, yoga, pranayama, everything. Nothing wrong. You have to. That is a dharma. But there is one dharma which is superior than that. And that is your dharma towards your soul. So that parrot is like the soul. If you don't take care of the parrot, then there is no point in taking care of the cage. Similarly, if we only take care of the body and do not take care of our soul, then there is no point. Why? Because when we die, in the next life again, we will start from A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4. We will start from there. So there is absolutely no point. But in the spiritual life, all the shlokas that you have memorized, you will see that in the next life, right from the very beginning, you would have known those shlokas, you would have memorized those shlokas, even though nobody told you. And if you want first-hand practical experience, you start learning the shlokas. So every day in the morning, we learn shlokas. And you will see as you go along the way that there are few verses that you remember. Like you just see it once and you just remember it, you know it. It has happened to me a lot of times that I just see a verse and then I don't even think of remembering it. And sometimes in the lecture it just comes out, or sometimes I'm thinking and I just know that shlok. So how is it? Or you can try it for yourself when you go along the way of memorizing shlokas. Because we have been practicing this for various lifetimes. So that is why he says that you have some dharma that is more important than these two dharmas. And then he says that first, let's start with your identity crisis. You can't understand, so let's start from that. So this was the shlok. Now let's go for the shlok of the day today. So Giriraj Prabhu, is there someone who wants to recite or shall I?
You can go.
Okay. Na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate satah, ubayorapi drishtontas, tavya anyas tattvadarshibhi. Translation: those who are seers of the truth have concluded that of the non-existent, the material body, there is no endurance, and of the eternal, the soul, there is no change. This they have concluded by studying the nature of both. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Sri Prabhupada Ki Jai. So we must always glorify the person who has given us this knowledge. Without the blessings, we can never understand these things. So there is no endurance of the changing body, that the body is changing every moment by the actions and reactions of the different cells is admitted by modern medical science. And thus growth and old age are taking place in the body. So as per science, every 7 years, we have a new body. So the cells that I have today, those won't be present in my body after 7 years. It will keep on changing. So the body keeps on changing, like we saw we discussed in the last class, that when we were born, we were very small in size. Then we started growing up, and then it's 5'8" and 5'5", 5'10", someone is 6'2", whatever. So it keeps on growing for a certain time. And so does the cell. So every 7 years, we are a new person in terms of body. And thus growth and old age are taking place in the body, but the spirit soul exists permanently, remaining the same despite all changes of the body and the mind. That is the difference between matter and spirit. By nature, the body is ever changing and the soul is eternal. That means the soul never changes. This is going to come in the purport, the size of the soul, it always remains same. Not only for this lifetime, any lifetime. So you as a person, we all are spirit, soul. So we as a person, we will never change. The size, our activities, everything, we are unique. And the relationship which I have with my creator, with my maker, only I have. The relationship that you have with the creator is same, Lord Krishna. So everyone has a unique relationship with Krishna. And that is why he wants all of us back. It's not that he wants few of us back and few don't. He doesn't know. It's not like that. Because each and every one of us are unique. He values each and every one of us. So this conclusion is established by all classes of seers of the truth, both impersonalist and personalist. So impersonalist are people who say that God has no form. He is formless. He is just some energy. He is just some light. And the personalist, we are personalist because we say that God is a person. He has form. He looks beautiful and he wears yellowish clothes and he has a flute and he wears peacock feather and he dances and he eats and he cries and he laughs and he's a person basically. So that is personalist. So in the Vishnu Puran 2.1.2.3.8, it is stated that Vishnu and his abodes all have self-illuminated spiritual existence. Jyotimsi Vishnu, Bhuvanani Vishnu. The words existent and non-existent refer only to spirit and matter. That is the version of all seers of truth. So Vishnu and his abodes. That it means that there is a place Lord Vishnu resides. He lives. And that place is far from here. We are in a different realm, in a different place, and he is in a different place. This is the beginning of the instruction by the Lord to the living entities who are bewildered by the influence of ignorance. So because of the ignorance that we associate ourselves with the body, that I am fair, I am dark-skinned, I am fat, I am short, I am tall, I am good-looking, I am ugly-looking, I am this, I am that. So this is just pure ignorance. So the three things in the subtle mind I told, mind, intelligence, and false ego. So why it is false ego? It is false ego because it identifies with the body. The moment it identifies with the soul, the moment it knows that I am not this body, I am soul. So when you see the great sages, they don't care about the body, isn't it? They are in Himalayas, minus 40 degrees, they are doing tapasya. You will see in places like Vrindavan, they don't care. If you give them food to eat, they will eat. If you don't give, it doesn't matter. Whole day they are chanting the name of Lord. So they are not on bodily conscious at all. They are in the spiritual consciousness all the time, right? Removal of ignorance involves the re-establishment of the eternal relationship between the worshipper and the worshipable and the consequent understanding of the difference between the part and parcel living entities and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One can understand the nature of the Supreme by thorough study of oneself, the difference between oneself and the Supreme Being understood as the relationship between the part and the whole. So we don't need to become scholars. We don't need to study hi-fi books to understand what's going on. All we need to do is look within ourselves because God is residing within ourselves. the more we try to understand ourselves, the more we become closer with Krishna, with God. So from Bahirmukhi, Bahir means looking outside, we have to become Antarmukhi. We have to look inside of us. And then we will. So it's like have you seen cabbage, right? So there are layers. You start opening a layer and it opens and opens and opens. So this is what happens with us as well. So there is a lot of covering. There is a covering of the 5 things. Then there is mind, there is intelligence, there is false ego. Then there are so many things. There is illusion, there is lust, anger, greed, illusion, pride, envy. There are so many coverings around us. So as we try to connect with ourselves, as we try to connect with God, each layer keeps on opening. And as the layers are opening, we realize ourselves more. In the Vedanta Sutra, as well as in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Supreme has been accepted as the origin of all emanations. Iti chamsa kalapumsa krishnastu bhagavan swayam indrari vyakulam loke mridanti yuge yuge. Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 3rd chapter, text 30-28. So such emanations are experienced by superior and inferior natural sequences. The living entities belong to the superior nature as it will be revealed in the 7th chapter. Although there is no difference between the energy and the energetic is accepted as the supreme and the energy or nature is accepted as the subordinate. The living entities therefore are always subordinate to the Supreme Lord, as in the case of the master and the servant, or the teacher and the taught. So the philosophy that we are equal with God, we are same with God, that is incorrect. Bhagavad-gītā 7.7 Matta paratarat nanyat kinchid asti dhananjaya mai sarvam idam prottam sutre mani gana iva. Meaning that he tells Arjun that Arjun, Matta paratarat nanyat. There is no one above me. There is no one equal to me. I am above everything. And everything is resting on me like a bead. The pearls of a bead are resting on the thread. We all have seen beads or garland, so it rests on a thread, the flowers or the beads. So similarly, he says, as it rests on the thread, everything in this material or spiritual world rests upon me and there is nothing above me. So this is the correct understanding, because we are trying to understand the text of Bhagavad-gītā. And the Lord is saying, no one can change the Sanskrit. Sanskrit is fixed if you read any version of Bhagavad-gītā. So that is why it is fixed that he is above everything. Such clear knowledge is impossible to understand under the spell of ignorance. And to drive away such ignorance, the Lord teaches the Bhagavad-gītā for the enlightenment of all living entities for all time. So now, as I said, that everyone has the laptop, but you don't have the password to the laptop. So everyone has this knowledge. Everyone has Bhagavad-gītā. I can go out in the open in Dublin city center and I can shout on the mic that, you know what, Lord Krishna says, Bhagavad-gītā text 7, chapter 7, text 7. Matta paratarat nanyat. I am above. But 99% population will not believe. They will say, what is this? Who is this Krishna? What is this Bhagavad-gītā? Who are you? Why should I believe you? So everyone has a laptop. That means everyone has Bhagavad-gītā. It's open in public. But they cannot understand. Why? Because you need 2 things for this. One is your endeavor, your eagerness to understand. And the second thing is mercy. Mercy of Lord Krishna to understand. And then there are certain qualifications to understand. So Lord Krishna says to Arjun, you are understanding this knowledge because you are non-envious of me. You don't envy me. So that is the reason. Okay. We move on to the next slok. Giriraj Prabhu, is there anyone yet?
Prabhu, मैं करूं?
Yes, please.
अविनाशी तु तद्विधि येना सर्वम् इदं ततं विनाशम् अव्ययस्य न कश्चित् कर्तुम् अर्हति.
Very nice, Madhu. Very well. Translation भी पढ़ लीजिए.
That which pervades the entire body you should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
So, yeah, he says, I'll read again, that which pervades the entire body. So we just discussed about consciousness. Consciousness is inside our body and throughout our body. So it's consciousness. Let's say if I hit my toe somewhere. So the consciousness sends the signal to my brain that, this part is paining now. So this is all part of consciousness. And the driving factor is soul. So that which pervades the entire body you should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. Why is Krishna saying this? Because Arjuna is thinking that, Krishna, don't you know me? Don't you know that I am a warrior who fought with Lord Shiva right before this Mahabharata war? And I equaled him in fighting. I was able to destroy the army of all the Kauravas together. When there was Karna, there was Duryodhana, everyone. I was able to fight with the Gandharvas and save Duryodhana and Karna from them. So do you think this soul that you are speaking of, you think I cannot kill a soul? So that is why Krishna is saying, no, Arjun. Actually, the thing I'm describing is indestructible. You cannot kill it. So this verse more clearly explains the real nature of the soul, which is spread all over the body. Anyone can understand what is spread all over the body. It is consciousness. Everyone is conscious of the pains and pleasures of the body in part or as a whole. How do I know that this hand of mine is itching? Because there is a signal that is sent to brain. Who is sending the signal? That is consciousness. So a dead person cannot scratch. A dead person cannot move. Why? Because there is no consciousness in the body, isn't it? So this spreading of consciousness is limited within one's own body. The pain and pleasures of one body are unknown to another. Therefore, each and every body is the embodiment of an individual soul, and the symptom of the soul's presence is perceived as individual consciousness. The soul is described as 1/10,000th part of the upper portion of the hair, point in size. The Shvetashvatara Upanishad 5.9 confirms this. Let's take the shlok. Balagra shata bhagasya shatadha kalpitasya cha bhago jiva sa vigyeha sa chanantyaya kalpate. When the upper point of a hair is divided into 100 parts, and again each of such parts is further divided into 100 parts, each such part is the measurement of the dimension of the spirit soul. Similarly, the same version is stated, Keshagra Shata Bhagasya Shatamsha Sadri Shatmaka Jiva Sukshma Swarupoyam Sankayatito hi Chitkana. There are innumerable particles of spiritual atoms which are measured as 1/10,000th of the upper portion of the hair. So what is the size of the soul? Pluck one of your hair, then the tip of the hair. You divide that tip of the hair into 10,000 parts. So one among those 10,000 parts, one divided by 10,000 part of the tip of the hair is your soul. This is how subtle a soul is. So Arjuna is thinking, I will kill the soul. Krishna is telling him indirectly, you cannot kill what you cannot see. You cannot even see that under a microscope. How can you kill that thing? Right? So I'll tell you a joke. Once what happened was that all the superheroes of the world, Batman, Spider-Man or He-Man, whoever were there, they assembled, and along with them there were all the yogis and mystics of the world. And there was an assembly, and everyone was saying, they were glorifying themselves and they were declaring their power. One said that, you know what, I can punch and break mountain in one punch. Someone said, you know what, I can time travel. Someone said, I can become big and I can become small. And they were all glorifying each other. Then when everyone's round was over, then they asked, is anyone left? So there was a poor person over there. He said, yes, I also need to glorify. So then they said, oh, who are you? You were also here? He said, yeah. So they said, what is your superpower? So this poor man says that, you know what, my superpower is the most brilliant one. And my superpower is that I see everybody, I see all, but nobody sees me. So you get the joke? That no one sees a poor person. So that is his superpower. So similarly, it was just a context I was saying that no one can see soul actually. So how is it that you can kill a soul? This is one of the property of soul. So therefore, the individual particle of spirit soul is a spiritual atom smaller than the material atoms, and such atoms are innumerable. This very small spiritual spark is the basic principle of the material body, and the influence of such a spiritual spark is spread all over the body as the influence of the active principle of some medicine spreads throughout the body. This current of the spirit soul is felt all over the body as consciousness, and that is the proof of the presence of the soul. Any layman can understand that the material body minus consciousness is a dead body, and this consciousness cannot be revived in the body by any means of material administration. So how much ever the science can progress, but it cannot make a dead person alive. Because as we saw in the initial of this class that the subtle body and the spiritual body is beyond the scope of science. The science can only study the gross body, the matter. It cannot go beyond that. Because initially when they were researching, they said that the chemicals that are inside our body, if we go and buy that from market, it only costs rupees 110. So I think it's almost just 1.5 euros. That is the cost of our body. So just imagine if there are certain intelligent people, so-called intelligent people, who say that we are just some chemical reaction. Our body is made just from some chemical reaction and we are part of chemical reaction. If that were the case, so let's say there is one driver who is driving a Mercedes or an Audi that costs maybe 50,000 euros. So he's driving and unfortunately he drives and hits a tree and then there is an accident. There is a crowd over there. Who do you think the crowd is going to save? The car or the driver? It's obvious that they are going to save the driver first. But as per the so-called scientists, the body is only worth 1.5 euros and the car is worth 50,000 euros. So isn't this a wrong calculation? You should have saved the car, isn't it? That is more expensive. Why are you saving the person? Because there is something invaluable inside the person, which you cannot value in terms of money. And that is soul. That is beyond your scope. That is beyond the scope of science. So any layman can also understand this, that they will save the person. Any sane person, I mean, if they are mental, that is another case. But any sane person, they are going to save the driver first and then the car, if there is scope to save the car, right? So therefore, consciousness is not due to any amount of material combination, but to the spirit soul. In the Mundak Upanishad 319, the measurement of the atomic spirit soul is further explained. So you skip the Sanskrit. It says the soul is atomic in size and can be perceived by perfect intelligence. This atomic soul is floating in the 5 kinds of air: Pran, Apan, Vyan, Saman and Udan. So this is also discussed in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad-gītā, Dhyan Yoga. Is situated within the heart and spreads its influence all over the body of the embodied living entities. When the soul is purified from the contamination of the 5 kinds of material air, its spiritual influence is exhibited. The Hatha Yoga system is meant for controlling the 5 kinds of air, encircling the pure soul by different kinds of sitting postures, not for any material profit, but for liberation of the minute soul from the entanglement of the material atmosphere. So yoga, pranayam, hatha yoga, whatever people do. So now it's like aerobics. So it's a show business now. They don't realize what is yoga for. Yoga is a Sanskrit word with root meaning yuj. Yuj means to link. So yoga means to link ourselves with the Supreme Self. This is the meaning of, yoga. So in previous ages, when people used to say the term yoga, it did not mean you go in a gym and you do some aerobatics and you do some circus like jokers. No, that was not the definition of yoga. Yoga meant that you are sitting and you are meditating on the Supreme. That is the real meaning of yoga. Okay, so the constitution of the atomic soul is admitted in all Vedic literatures, and it is also actually felt in the practical experience of any sane man. Only the insane man can think of this atomic soul as all-pervading Vishnu Tattva. The influence of the atomic soul can be spread all over a particular body. According to the Mundaka Upanishad, this atomic soul is situated in the heart of every living entity. So remember this, the soul is residing in the heart. And because the measurement of the atomic soul is beyond the power of appreciation of the material scientists, some of them assert foolishly that there is no soul. Now another thing, if you understand, the scientists say that the heart is the pumping place of the whole body, right? The heart is functioning, that is why the body is functioning. If the heart fails, the person dies, isn't it? So if we correlate things that the Mundaka Upanishads say that the soul resides within the heart, and the scientists are saying that if the heart stops, the body stops functioning. So now you can do the mathematics that there is soul. There's definitely soul. So individual atomic soul is definitely there in the heart along with the super soul. So the soul and the super soul both resides within our heart. And thus all the energies of bodily movement are emanating from this part of the body. The corpuscles which carry the oxygen from the lungs gather energy from the soul. When the soul passes away from this position, the activity of the blood generating fusion ceases. So heart is it pumps blood throughout our body, isn't it? So here the Mundaka Upanishad is saying that it's actually soul. Soul is the driving force because of which the heart generates, it pumps the blood. So medical science accepts the importance of the red corpuscles, but it cannot ascertain that the source of the energy is the soul. Medical science, however, does admit that the heart is the seat of all energies of the body. Such atomic particles of the spirit whole are compared to the sunshine molecules. In the sunshine, there are innumerable radiant molecules. Similarly, the fragmental parts of the Supreme Lord are atomic sparks of the rays of the Supreme Lord, called by the name Prabha, or superior energy. So whether one follows Vedic knowledge or modern science, one cannot deny the existence of the spirit soul in the body, and the science of the soul is explicitly described in the Bhagavad-gītā by the personality of God himself. Okay? So with that, we will stop for the day and we will open for question and answer now. So before I begin, I will just ask that now logically have we understood about soul, or if not, then also theoretically, can you just give me 1-2 points why we say that there is soul based on today's lecture? Who can tell me?
Because we must be emotional.
Okay, one at a time, please. So Sheetal Mataji, will start with you.
Yeah, because we are conscious. So
Yes,
that's why
thank you.
the soul is there.
Yes.
Prabhu,
Where was
scientific
Prabhu?
research,
Thank you. Yes. What scientific research?
past life and out of body.
Yes. So the research of reincarnation, past life. Yes, Amit Prabhu.
Yes, I was going to cover the same part, but more importantly, that the circumstances that we are born, someone is born rich, someone is born poor, someone is born disabled, someone is born very healthy and whatnot. So they also describe that it's not randomly that is happening. Most people, atheistic ways to say that it's just random, just happens with it can happen with anyone. It's not like that. There is a purpose behind why does that happen, and why is someone born in India or someone is born in US or something like that. So it's all karmic, and the soul carries that karma, and because of that we are born in that situation.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. So I think that's good. Now let's open for question and answer. Who has the question?
Bro, मेरा थोड़ा अलग क्वेश्चन था कि अर्जुन बचपन से राधा और कृष्ण दोनों को जानते थे, और हम कहते कि राधा रानी वृंदावन की क्वीन है, तो अगर अर्जुन कृष्ण के बिना अगर डायरेक्टली राधा रानी को इस क्राइसिस में अप्रोच करते तो क्या होता?
Okay, so I will reiterate his question in English. He's saying that Arjun knew both Radha and Krishna, and then why didn't Arjun approach Radharani, or he would have approached Radharani? Isn't it? This is the question.
Yes, Prabhu.
So you have to understand that just because of this war, Krishna left Vraj and he went to Mathura. After Mathura, he could have returned to Vrindavan, but no, he comes to Dwarka. From Dwarka, he could have returned, but no, he goes to Kurukshetra and this war. So the whole reason, so it's like he had to do so many leelas. So this is all part of his leela. Radharani is not here because this is the, okay, so when we play chess, Prabhu, is the queen in the chess? Is queen part of the chess? Who can tell? Have you played chess? It's king. There is no queen in the chess, isn't it?
No queen.
Because the queen does not go in a war. Radharani is a queen. So why would she be there? And why would Arjun leave Kurukshetra and all the way go to Vrindavan? It is a war. The conch shells are blown. The war is almost about to begin now. So do you get it, Prabhu?
Oh, yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. Yes, Jagriti Mataji. You can unmute yourself and ask.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thanks a lot for today's session. In the beginning, you explained like if we lose like let's say 10,000 euros, right? It was never ours. So the point is like, why does it even those 10,000 euro even came into my life? It should have never come. So me having to lose that makes me like wonder. Oh my God, I lost it. So that holds true not just for money. Anything what you lose, like a relationship or anything.
Got your question. Yeah.
Come in the first place.
Yeah, right. So I'll answer that. Dhritarashtra, okay, 50 lifetimes or 100 lifetimes back, he killed 100 birds. He killed 100 birds, and because of that killing, the parents of the bird, they became blind. So he had a curse now that his 100 children would die in front of him because those 100 birds died in front of their parents, the husband, wife, that bird. And he will become blind as well because the parents also became blind. So this was the curse. But this Dhritarashtra, he did not have pious credits or good karmas that he could have 100 sons. To even get one son, we need to have good karmas. So it took him 100 lifetimes to earn those karma points so that he could get 100 sons. So after 100 lifetimes, he gets 100 sons, but then as part of his prarabdha, he had to see all 100 sons die in front of him. So now let's relate that with your question. You did something, part of your prarabdha, where you had to lose 10,000 euros, or you had to lose a relationship, or you had to, it could be any tragedy, or you had to have hit a jackpot. It could be good as well, because this is material world. We always think negative and we are always giving bad examples. But let's do it in equilibrium. Let's say good as well. But then you had this prarabdha as well that you are going to lose that. And then you also worked. Your other prarabdha said that, but you will gain. And at the same time you will lose. So whatever is happening to us, we have to understand that it is part of our prarabdha that has already been done before. But now then you have a choice, or you have a chance that those 10,000 were taken from you, but you can again earn 50,000 more. Because the third karma is also there, that is kriyaman. Okay? So let's say in relationship there was a breakup, or you met someone who hurt you and then they left and they never called or they never cared about you. So that was a part of your destiny. It had to happen. Why? Because you did the same with someone else in some other lifetime that you can't remember right now. But it did happen, because it is said that not a single blade of grass can change if Krishna does not want it to be. Right? So everything that is happening that is happening by the sanction of Lord Krishna. We will understand this in the 5th chapter, verses 12 to 17. We will understand this very deeply. So, if you are favorite of Krishna, let's say Krishna says, Mame Vanshe Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana 15.6, that all of you belong to me. Then he says, everyone is dear to me. So why will he let you hurt? Or why will he let 10,000 euros taken away from you? There needs to be an explanation. If he is all, we take any form of Krishna. So Krishna is Sarva Akarshan. Even if we take Allah, Allah means all merciful. Shiv, it means all auspicious. Whatever name you take, Namna Makari Bahudha, any name of Lord Vishnu you take. So in the end, the thing is that he wouldn't let anything bad happen to you, because by default he is merciful. By default he is all attractive, he is all giving, he always wants the best for you. But if it is happening, it is us. It's us. That is why he has given a disclaimer. Tam titikshasva bharata, tolerate it. Because you have, the only option you have for your prarabdha is how you react to it. You had to lose those 10,000 euros, but now you can either be sad about it, or you can be happy that, oh, it's good. Now this part is over. This part of my life where I was about to lose is over. Now I can finally move on, and then I can do some good thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So what I understood is like I gained those 10,000 euros only to lose, so that I can lose, because that was probably a curse, or that is how I was destined.
Yes, exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. That's
Right.
interesting.
Yeah, so this is why if you see in Bhagavatam, the third line that we discussed, it means that this place is illusion actually. This place is only existing because of Lord Krishna, because he wants this to exist. If he didn't want, it wouldn't exist. So that means everything here is illusion. Everything here is illusion. Your body is also not yours. Nothing belongs to you actually. What to say about those 10,000 euros? This body is also rented. Bhadi ka body hai ye. So when the time comes, we'll have to give up this body. Right? So we are not from this place, and nothing belongs to us in this place. It's all rented. We have some points. Based on that points, our karmas, we are getting food, water, clothes, shelter, husband, wife, whatever, parents. And when the points are gone, they are gone. And then we are gone as well. Then next point. So it's all this gathering the point, doing karma. Okay, so we'll move on to Abhishek.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Can I ask you one question?
Mataji, can we, so everyone please raise your hand, and then we will move on in sequence, okay?
Prabhu, just can I complete my question regarding what you said, so we can change the next topic, or it's fine?
Okay, fine. So next time, okay, so everyone mute yourself and please raise your hand if you have to ask question, okay? So please do that now.
I'll just
if you have to ask question.
Yep.
Yeah.
Prabhu,
so yes, Vedas, Prabhu, go ahead.
Prabhu, you had mentioned Kalpa Bhed in previous classes, that these stories have happened like millions of times, right? And every time there was a single variation, a small variation. Sometime Parikshit Maharaj
could be not.
Yeah. So in that context, I was wondering, Radharani being more kinder, had she dealt with the whole situation completely differently than how Krishna dealt with it? Krishna, like he allowed a war to happen, but maybe Radharani would have said, no war, let's just deal with it differently. That was my question initially.
There could have been so many things, but there is no difference between Krishna and Radha. First you have to understand that they are not two people, Prabhu. Radha and Krishna are one person. Okay? Just for the sake of Leela, they split, and then there is a male form and then there is a female form. So if Krishna is saying something, it is coming from Radharani, isn't it?
Yeah, perfect. Yes, Prabhu. Thanks.
Okay, perfect. So we'll move on to Abhishek Dwivedi, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu, you can unmute.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhu, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, my question was related to the quantification of the soul. And my confusion is, in the previous class, you were mentioning that we have three kind of body: gross body, subtle body, spiritual body.
Yeah.
Soul is a spiritual body.
Yes.
It means it is not physical body. But still we are saying
No. Spiritual is physical, Prabhu. That's what I'm saying. That God has a personal form. The form that we have, that we perceive, 2 hands, 2 legs, 2 eyes, 1 nose, 1 lips. So the super soul has the same form and the soul has the same form as we appear. So it is physical, it has a form. Though it is inconceivable, it is so small that we cannot see it or perceive it with our material eyes. But once we leave the body, when the soul travels with the subtle body and the spiritual body, then you can see the soul.
Okay. So just continuing this thing. So is this a figure of speech that soul is 1 by 10,000 part of the air, or it is the exact estimation?
It is the exact estimation. Shastras never estimate. It is the fact. This is it.
Yeah,
this is the actual size.
Yeah, I was getting confused because when we say it is 1 by 10,000, it means we are quantifying it. It means it is a matter. And 1 by 10,000 of a tip nowadays is not something which is that small. So, but I was thinking...
but can a microscope actually measure 1 by 10,000 of tip of the hair?
I mean, we can see nanometer and angstroms.
Mm-hmm. So I'll just tell you this thing, that whatever is mentioned in the Vedas, it's not like what you say, an analogy or something. It is the fact. This is the size of the soul. And there is a figure to that soul. There is a shape of the soul as well. And the shape is, I told you, as we look, that is exactly how the soul looks. And that is exactly how Krishna or the super soul looks. So now let's start with the confusion. Now, is there still any confusion?
No, there is no. I was confused, but you are saying that maybe it is not really clear to me because I'm confused. But you are saying whatever is written in the
scriptures.
This is the truth.
Yeah,
I have one question, and if you allow, I don't know if other people are waiting, but if they are waiting, I can ask them.
Yeah, so we can have a separate question answer doubts. You can either post in the group or you can keep it with yourself because we have to take everyone's question.
Understood.
So, and if we finish early today, so we can take your questions too, okay?
Okay. No problem.
Thank you. Yeah, so next we'll take Raman Mataji's question.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. The slok is that yam hina yatyante purusham purusharabha samudra sukham dhiram somrittavaye kalpate. So in that, the Krishna says that the person should not be like, he should be same in that whatever sorrow is happiness would be there. He should be same, isn't it? So, yes. So my question is that, I don't know, it's a question, I'm confused in that. If somebody in this material world, if our own person is dying, we definitely have the sorrow. So if we are not feel that sadness, then how this relation will going on? Then how we attract each other?
Yeah, I think you were not in the first session, right? Because the same question was asked by Ashish Prabhu and I answered that question. So briefly, I will answer again and then I will send you the audio. You can look descriptive answers. So in short, I will answer this question is, there are two things, Mataji. One is affection and then is attachment. Okay? So what Lord Krishna is saying, be affectionate. We should not become like mechanical robots having no emotion. Yes, we must have emotion, but we should not be attached with it. Wherever there is attachment, you start hurting yourself and others if there is attachment. But if there is affection, you always put the other person ahead of you. For instance, if someone dies, let's say tomorrow my parents, they leave this planet. So if I am attached, I will go in depression, I will die. sorry, I will not eat, I will not do anything, and I will be appearing as a dead body. But if I am affectionate towards my father or my mother, I will see it as an opportunity that because they have left their body, now my role comes into play, that I should chant more for them because they are going on a higher destination. So the more I chant for them, the better destination they get. So this is affection because you are putting them ahead of you, not being attached with them. And then you know the truth. Yes, of course, I will cry. There will be tears. Why? Because we had some memories. As a child, they taught me everything, and then there was very good memories with them. So definitely I'm going to cry because I am not a robot. I have emotions. But those will be controlled emotion. It will not go to an extent that I just go in coma. I start shutting everyone down. I'm crying all the time. I'm not eating. I'm not sleeping. I am speaking about my parents only to everyone, and then I'm worrying everyone and bothering everyone. No, so that is not the way, right? So we have to be affectionate. Clear?
Okay, Prabhuji. So every time it's not like that. Now we just chant. Like if I correlate with the today's what's going in the world, war is going on. So if everyone doing chanting and all, so then how the peace will create like that? Like nowadays, Israel killing the Palestine, like I don't know who is fair enough in that one. So everyone is like that. They will not do something fair enough for their own people. So how can we relate this thing?
Okay, so I'll tell you something. We have done all these things. We have served in the army. We have served as a doctor. We have served as a cricketer, footballer. We have done all these things in every life, Mataji. You, I, and everyone on this call. There have been millions of Palestine versus Israel or Ukraine versus Russia. They have been going on in different lifetimes, in different places, in different planets. And every time we have only been stuck in that thing. But now is the chance that that's why I said, from Bahir-mukhi you become Andar-mukhi. Bahir-mukhi means what's going outside. You look inside you. Do you want to keep on in this reading newspapers or understanding what's going on? Or do you finally want to get out of this place and go back to Krishna? And then he can send you as a Satyavesh avatar. And you can become a Messiah and you can help everyone. Isn't it?
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll move now. We'll move with Khushi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
You
Krishna.
said that Krishna is all merciful. So when good things happen to us, is it Krishna or is it our prarabdha?
Everything is our prarabdha, but when we come into bhakti, then it is Krishna. Okay? So when we come into bhakti, as I explained in my previous class, that what happens is, our register is with Chitragupt Bhagwan and Yamraj. So Krishna then takes that register and he says, hand it over to me. And then it comes in the jurisdiction of Krishna. And after that, so I am speaking about committed devotees, right? Who have completely surrendered to Krishna. They are not eating outside food. They are only eating offered food. They are chanting their 16 rounds every day, following the principles, have a guru, and they are surrendered to their guru. So if there is a devotee like that, or if there is an aspiring devotee as well who wants to do this, who has this desire, so then Krishna transfers their karma into his own register, and then because he has to purify us, he will still give us those karma, but in a very small, in a very little way, that if your hands were to be cut, then only there will be a scratch in your finger, like that. So then that is bhakti, that is Krishna, and not your prarabdha. Okay.
Thank you so much. And I also had this one question. If I'm not wrong, last class you said that the Mayavadis believe that there is God in everyone. But this theory
Everyone is God. Everyone, no. Not there is God in everyone. Everyone is God.
What's the difference?
Okay. The difference is there is God in me, there is God in you. So God is sitting as Paramatma in everybody. So God is within everybody because of which we are functioning. That is one thing. But the Mayavadis say that Abhay Giriraj is God, Tamanna is God, Khushi is God, Khushi's mother, father are God, everyone is God. So that is incorrect understanding. We are not gods, isn't it?
Yeah.
If we were God, then we could wake every day in 3 a.m. in the morning, isn't it? We can control the traffic just with our desire. We can control the earthquake. We can control everything. But can we? We cannot, isn't it? So we are not God.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Amit Prabhu.
प्रभु वो किसी ने कमेंट डाला, आप चेक कीजिए एक बार, उनका आंसर दीजिए, तो फिर पूछता हूँ.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay, for those who missed first session, can you please share recording link? Ever since everything is energy, we come back to some other life due to karma, or we come back as Masiha. Is there a point where we go back to our supreme soul and that's it, means no coming back? Yes, Prabhuji. So first thing, we do have the recording of all these sessions, and Vedas Prabhu, thanks to Vedas Prabhu, he has taken this initiative. So he has created a YouTube channel for me. And I don't want to make it public. This will just be specifically for our class. So all our sessions would be recorded, because if we keep on sending them every time in the WhatsApp group, then it will take a lot of space and memory, and it will hang your WhatsApp. So that's why we did it on YouTube. And then we will have a series of lectures of Bhagavad-gītā and series of lectures of Bhagavatam. And we will very soon be sharing the link only with you. So we wouldn't make it public just for this group. So that is the first thing. Second, you said, since everything is energy, energy as in, yes, we all are energy because we are doing action karma. That is why we are energy. But I will explain it further, what kind of energy. So we come back to some other life due to karma. Yes, we are here because we have our karma. When the karma will be clear, there will be no plus or minus, it will be zero. Then we will go back to Vaikuntha. That is the day of our liberation. Or we come back as Masiha. No, so coming back as Masiha has nothing to do with your prarabdha or with your karma. For instance, Jesus Christ, he had no karma. He did not come because he had any karma. He was not hanged because he had any karma. He came to preach. He came for the love of Godhead, so that people could connect with him and go back. When the Pandavas came, whatever atrocities the Pandavas had, it was not because they had any bad karmas or prarabdha. Bhishma Pitama says that you did not have any bad karmas. You got all these things because Krishna wanted you to glorify that. Even after going through all this atrocity, you never lost your calm. You were always devoted to Krishna. So this is what Krishna wanted to teach via the medium of the Pandavas. That like Pandavas, we also are in trouble every day. Can everyone please mute themselves? Or I will mute everyone. Sonia Mataji and Vedas Prabhu, if you can also please mute yourself. So, yeah, thank you. So Prabhuji, let me reopen the question. So I was saying that we also face so many problems in our life. So through the lifestyle of Pandavas, Krishna is teaching us that always be Krishna conscious. Arjun was always Krishna conscious. They were always moral people. They never left their morality, whatever it was. Even when their wife was being insulted, they never left their morality. Yudhishthir Maharaj, he always kept his calm. He always said Suyodhan. He never even called him Duryodhan. Du means bad. So it's like Suputra means good and Du is bad. So I don't know why, there is another explanation why he was called Duryodhan, but the thing is that he would always call him Suyodhan. Su means very good, auspicious. So even after all these atrocities, he never insulted Duryodhan, even by his tongue, what to speak by his hand or pushing him or all those things. So Lord Krishna, through the medium of the Pandavas, they are teaching us, and yes, we are definitely going all back to Godhead. Once our karmas are finished, or when we become surrendered to Lord Krishna, he says, Devi yeshi gudamai mam maya duratya mame vaye prapadyante maya idam tarantite. 7.14 Bhagavad-gītā. That it is very difficult to cross this maya, but whoever surrenders unto me, I will make sure that he crosses. Okay? So we will not come back, Prabhuji. Yes. So hope that answers. I don't know Prabhuji or Mataji because it's just SM, so I'm assuming Prabhuji, so I told that. If it's answered, you can maybe rewrite you, or you can speak with me later. So now we will come back to we will come back to Amit Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. I had a doubt regarding similar context regarding this. So I based on this is some of my other understanding too regarding karma. So just let me know if it's right or wrong. So when you say that some people face some kind of situation, and I've even seen that even in my somewhat study of Jyotish when I see, but I've also observed that a kind of situation keeps on repeating until and unless the person learns the lesson from it.
Exactly.
And that is what the part people don't basically look at.
Yeah.
People usually go into mode of ignorance when something bad happens to them. And they think that, oh, I'll rebel or I'll come out of it. I have
Can I just say, because this is relevant, I'll just tell you one thing.
Yeah.
The purpose of jail is to reform you. You did something bad. Let's say you have anger issues. So you go to anger management classes. Now they will test you. Until and unless your anger is under control, they will keep throwing tests at you, isn't it? And you will only pass when you are cool and calm, when you don't get angry anymore. So this is what Krishna does with us. This material world is a jail. Dukhalaya Shashvatam. We are here to reform ourselves. Krishna is sent here to reform so that we are eligible to go back to Vaikuntha. Got it? So that is why he throws the test at us via Maya Devi, so that she tests, is still there is anger, is still there is greed, or lust, or illusion, or this, or that. So until we are freed, it will keep coming, until we learn our lesson. Yes, Prabhu, go ahead.
So regarding the same thing, in the same lecture that you're referencing this jail example of Keshav Swami Maharaj, when there is a discussion going on about karma, Keshav Swami Maharaj discusses that there are three ways to get educated or get knowledge, and hence it divides three classes of men. First is through hearing. This is what the most intelligent class of men do. They learn just by hearing. Second thing is by hearing and by observing. This is the second class of men. And third class of men is who go through bitter and bad and good experiences in life, because they don't understand by observing and hearing from other experiences. Okay, so when a person develops this kind of intellect, that because for example, if I am in a group of friends who are smokers or alcoholic and meat eaters, but I'm not doing it because I'm able to see how it is affecting their body, or I know how it is going to affect to them in the future. So does Krishna also take this into consideration? Yes, he is trying to become an intelligent class of men. He is not like the others. So maybe now I should give him some kind of freebie or discount when it comes to all of these things. Or maybe he gives us some kind of an extra, intellect, that no matter what the situation, we are able to handle it very easily. So does it happen like that? Or, obviously you have to be in bhakti.
Yeah, right.
Bhakti, but also you have to develop this kind of attitude when you are dealing with the outside world.
Yes, Prabhu. So I answered this in one of the morning classes, that you observe your own life. The contrast then versus now. Now when you are in bhakti, now when you are chanting your rounds, you are coming for Mangal Aarti and everything, you are serving in the temple, Krishna does not want to take that away. He will keep on sending people who will make sure that all your problems are taken care of. And you will see in your life, when you come to bhakti, things that could have gone wrong in a very terrible way, you don't even understand, they don't go wrong at all. When we are mature enough, then we will think, oh, wait a minute, that was supposed to go wrong in a very terrible way. But nothing happened. Because we cannot see it now, we have conditioning. Krishna is helping us every moment. Because he also understands that we have struggled so hard to come this way. If we are sitting here listening about, hearing Bhagavad-gītā and trying to understand Krishna and trying to understand ourselves, we have come a long way, a long, long way. According to Krishna, millions of birth and death. Bahunam Janmanam Ante. After the end of millions of births and deaths, one who is in knowledge surrenders unto me. He understands that I, Krishna, am God, and such a soul is very rare. Such a Mahatma is very rare. So yes, Prabhu, to answer your question, he helps. In a subtle way, he does.
Yeah, Prabhu, I agree to that. Since coming into Bhakti, I have changed, I have experienced these changes. Yes, so
right.
Thank you for the answer. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes. So we'll come back to Raman Mataji now. If you still have question.
Done, Prabhuji. My
So
question
please
is done.
lower your hand. Yeah.
Okay.
Your hand was yeah. Okay, no problem. Khushi Mataji, do you have question?
Yes, Prabhuji, Krishna here. Hare Krishna everyone.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
मेरा सवाल ये है, अभी आपने थोड़ी देर पहले कहा था कि हमको अगर इस लाइफ टाइम में ही कृष्णा में विलीन होना है या कृष्ण भगवान से सुपर सोल में करना है, and we want to stop the cycle of rebirth which is continuous, surrendering to God is the only option, right? Complete surrender to Krishna will stop the cycle of rebirth.
Yes.
But my question is, अगर हम surrender करने का सोचते हैं, but is it like, will Krishna accept our surrenderness, or he will think, okay, we are not yet capable, कुछ साल इंतजार करवाएंगे, या this person is not ready to become my true devotee? How exactly this thing goes around? I mean, कैसे भगवान accept करते हैं हमारा complete surrender?
I got your question, so I will repeat that in English. So Mataji is saying, first thing is that is surrender the final means of achieving Krishna, and second, what if we cannot surrender, or what if Krishna makes us wait to surrender? Okay, so your first answer is 18.66 Bhagavad-gītā, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami masacha. Meaning, abandon all your religions, just surrender unto me. So by all religion, I already explained you the meaning of religion. It's not Sikh, Isai or Hindu or Muslim. It means your activities, your dharma that you have to do. So abandon everything, surrender unto me, and I will make sure that all your sins are taken care of, and I will give you liberation. Do not fear. This is the final statement of Lord Krishna in Srimad Bhagavad-gītā. That is the first answer. Yes, the means is to surrender unto Krishna. Now, second thing is that yes, we have baggage. We have a lot and lots of prarabdha. Prarabdha that will take us millions and millions of lifetimes to surrender to Krishna and get liberated. So now what is the solution? The solution is, it is mentioned in the Shastra that Krishna loves sages, sadhu, so much. The sadhu who are completely devoted to Krishna, completely 100%. They are devoted to Krishna, 24 hours working for Krishna. They are so dear to Krishna that whatever they say, it becomes the word of Vedas. Meaning, whatever they say, Krishna has to make it right. For instance, I will give you an example. Bhagavad-gītā 9.31, 9 chapter 31st verse, Krishna says, Kaunteya prati janihi name bhaktah pranashyati. He says, O Kunti Putra, O Arjun, go and boldly declare to the world that my devotee never perishes. Now, if you think about this verse, he could have said it himself that Arjun, I declare that my devotee will never perish. But he says, Arjun, you go and declare. Why? Because it may happen that Krishna has taken a vow and he might have to break his vow. Like he broke his vow to save Arjun from Bhishma Pitama. He said, I am not going to fight this war. But then he took up a wheel and charged against Bhishma Pitama. So that is why he said, I am not going to take this vow. Because people might think that, oh, he might break his vow. But Arjun, if you make a vow that you go and declare, then your vow I will keep for eternity. I cannot break the vow of my pure devotee. So similarly, we are hopeless actually. You have raised a perfect question. It's a very thoughtful question, that we are not eligible. We cannot be eligible in the next million lifetimes. But because we have taken a guru, Prabhupada, and Prabhupada has given his words, if you chant 16 rounds and follow 4 regulative principles, no meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit relationship other than your husband and your wife, and no gambling. If you follow 4 things, you chant 16 rounds every day, you observe Ekadashi, then you will surely come back to Lord Krishna. But there is no timeline in this. It could be after 1 birth, 2 birth, 10 birth, or 50 birth. Based on your surrender, how surrendered you are. But then he added one more statement. Now this is fascinating. He said, whoever does Mangal Aarti every day along with all these things, he will come back to Vaikunt in one lifetime. Because he said that I have the back door key. They will not allow us from the front door because it will take us million lifetimes. But because we are following Prabhupada, daily Mangal Aarti, 16 rounds, 4 regulative principles, observing Ekadashi, he says, I have the back door key and I will take you from the back door. And if he has said, then Krishna will never cut his words because he is a pure devotee who gave his life for Krishna, surrendered to Krishna. Okay? Does that help?
Yes, I got my answer, but just अभी जो आपने बोला उसका मुझे खाली एक clarification चाहिए. If we are following the 4 principles, that is no intoxication, no meat eating, chanting and everything, but किसी भी जन्म का कुछ तो प्रारब्ध हुआ and one of this goes wrong, then how I mean, are we still to be blamed?
If you are okay, this is where the kripa plays. For instance, Mataji, I'll tell you personally, I am in no position to be sitting here and giving a discourse on Bhagavad-gītā. What to speak of Bhagavatam? I am not eligible. I can honestly confess it in front of all of you. Yet I am sitting here answering your questions and reading Bhagavad-gītā and making you understand. How is it possible? It's only possible because of the mercy of my spiritual master. So when we have this desire that I want to do this, I really want to do this, you will be tested for years and years. But once you get the mercy, so we have to understand that our capability or the mercy of a spiritual master is million times greater than our ability. We are thinking everything based on our ability. Can we do this? What if I am not able to wake up tomorrow for Mangal Aarti? What if I am not able to do this? What if I break one of the 4 regulative principles? Because this is our conditioning. We are thinking from our point of view. But then we forget there is mercy. There is some higher energy working on your favor. And that is your Guru. It's because of your Guru. If he has promised when you take Diksha and your Guru says that you have to chant 16 rounds every day, you have to follow 4 regulative principles every day, and you have to read Prabhupada books every day. He tells everyone. And if I say, yes, Maharaj, I am going to do this. And if I do this, I am making an attempt. So like you said, it could be that, I am becoming weak. And there are so many people who don't. But if I have a sincere desire, the Guru knows that he has this desire. He is honest. It's just that because of his conditioning from past life, he is not able to do, but he sincerely desires. So just based on desire, there is a heart-to-heart connection between me and my Guru. My Guru knows sitting in Delhi that I am giving a Bhagavad-gītā class today to you. So he knows each and everything about me, my past, present and future. So then he will see that, Abhay Giriraj, he is struggling because of his prarabdha, but he has his desire, so then he will give me the energy. And the second thing is when we take initiation, then they also take away our prarabdha, so that it does not come to play. So all now we need is our mindset, our desire to serve, and then to the promise that we do to our Guru on the time of initiation, we keep it. So that is why prarabdha cannot do anything, Mataji, if we are sincere towards our Guru. Okay. There is mercy. Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hari Bol. Yeah, so back to Vedas, Prabhu.
Prabhu, you now mentioned 1866 verse, and then yes, last class you said that Arjun is like a student who prepared all his year for the exam, and on the exam day he couldn't fight, right? So
that was an analogy. Yeah.
So that student could say that Krishna is saying abandon your dharma and surrender to me. So he can refuse to go to exam and just start doing bhakti. Like he could like misrepresent that. Like so student's dharma is to do his exam, right? But Krishna is saying abandon your dharma and surrender unto me. So how does that?
So now I will clarify. Yeah, I will clarify your question. So Krishna says, abandon your religion and surrender unto me. Okay? So now Arjun has surrendered unto Krishna. Now what is Krishna saying after Arjun has surrendered? Get up, Arjun, and fight. Right? So because Arjun is fully surrendered to Krishna, and Krishna is saying that you fight, that is why Arjun is fighting. That is why I said, if Arjun would have fought the war before Bhagavad-gītā, he would have fought as a warrior, as a Kshatriya. But after hearing Bhagavad-gītā, he is fighting as a Bhakt. You get the difference?
Yes,
Because I have surrendered to my Guru. So if my Guru says, now Prabhu, you go and you become a cook in Africa or in China. So because I am surrendered, I will go and become a cook. Isn't it? Following instructions. So he's following the instruction of Krishna. He says that get up and fight. Does that make sense?
Yes, Prabhu. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, Khushi Mataji, do you have more question? Oh, so, okay, by mistake did you raise your hand? Okay, fine. So, we can come back to you, Abhishek Dwivedi Prabhu, if you have more question or if you think that you have lengthy questions. So, we can take a different session or we can also discuss those in our Saturday temple sessions, whichever you prefer.
Yes, Prabhu, we can take it later. I think it's late also. Yeah, trying to say.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Okay.
Prabhuji, the session which you take in temple, this is in continuation of this session which you take in Bhagavad-gītā.
It wouldn't be continuation. It will be a general topic because I know that you have your classes with Sudarshan Prabhu. So I don't want you to miss out on anything. So I will take some general topic.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. That's what I was just wanted to ask. Thank you so much.
Yes, no
Hare
problem.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so thank you so much for joining. We'll have our next class on coming Tuesday, next Tuesday. So thanks. Please keep coming. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Prabhuji, yesterday I was unable to make it for the discourse. So I was not well, right? So whatever I missed yesterday about universe, you were saying something like that at the beginning of the session. So I will get that in the YouTube channel, right?
Yes, yeah. Everything.
Okay.
Thanks
I
to
need
Vedas
that
Prabhu.
link.
Yeah, I will send. I will share.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.